dwarf planet on the edge of a faraway galaxy, spinning around a sun in silence. A crew aboard an observatory in orbit around Vorus came 23 months ago to study the planet because it has a unique and strange feature. The planet is 99% total darkness. When Vorus was discovered many years ago, scientists were baffled and confused. How can it orbit such a bright yellow sun like the Earth and sit in almost total darkness? The laboratory sent down probes to scan the landscape and found it to be a derelict, harsh environment with high winds, below freezing temperatures, and no life whatsoever could have ever existed on its surface, not even the smallest of microbes. So on November 28th, 2088, Captain Locke sent out a quarantine message to the Bountiful Empire warning them, "A sickness has devastated the crew. Vorus is not safe. Do not come here. Leave this planet in peace." It had now been several weeks since the Doctor had changed, and he was still getting used to this mysterious new body. He was sat next to the console while spinning through the vortex, looking down at his hands, still not getting used to them, looking so different so soon. It was starting to niggle away at him, all these burning questions as to why he regenerated in the first place, but he knew he wasn't going to get any answers anytime soon. He pushed a few buttons, pulled a few levers, and was about to retreat into the TARDIS when a proximity alarm began to go off. The TARDIS, it seems, was on course to collide with a vast object in space. The Doctor opened up the scanner to reveal an almost invisible space station against the empty backdrop of space, spinning out of control all by itself. He hit the emergency stop button, and the engine ceased and the TARDIS came to an abrupt standstill. Looking at the image on the scanner, his heart began to race, with questions running through his mind as to what had happened. Why was it floating out in space all by itself? He used the TARDIS to slow down the rotation of the space station that was clearly off course, and plotted a course to land. The cloister bell rang as the coordinates were entered, but it were muted in favour of investigation. The Doctor exited the TARDIS in his famous orange spacesuit to find signs of life, which were looking quite slim. A space station out in the middle of space, he thought to himself, while full of glee and mystery and also fear of the unknown. The bulkhead doors had seen better days. They were covered in what appeared to either be bullet or laser marks, like something had been fired at them. Something bad had clearly happened here some time ago, and it was up to him to find out what and why. Slowly making his way through the cold corridors, the Doctor scanned for signs of life but found nothing. He was totally isolated and alone. The windows of the hull had frozen over and were frosted, with light moisture on the ground, obviously as the space station was spinning in space. As soon as the windows hit the sun, they were melting and then freezing again, and was spun away. Opening one of the bulkhead doors straight up, he found himself on a deck, looking out onto the dark emptiness of space, fixated on its beauty and wonderment. In the close distance was a silhouette, or outline, of a vast object just outside the frosted windows. It looked like a planet, but it was in complete darkness, and the sun was directly shining on it. How odd, he thought to himself, and quickly came to the conclusion that whatever reason that planet was in darkness and the station had no crew, the two must be linked. Curiosity was really beginning to envelop inside his brand new personality. Over the tannoy system, a sound faintly tried to get through of an announcement. 120 seconds until boarding. Quarantine protocols have been overridden. Quarantine, the doctor said out loud to himself. This station is under quarantine. Something was approaching in 120 seconds or less, and he really hoped it was human. He frantically looked for a computer terminal and quickly got it working, just about, to get more information as quickly as possible. Who or whatever was approaching was overriding the protocols, which means they're either a rescue mission, but there was no one here to rescue. The Sonic detected no signs of life, but on board the station must be something of interest to who or whatever was approaching. Docking complete. Protocols overridden. All the lights inside the station came on to reveal human bodies stripped of their flesh, lying on the floor. No signs of blood or a struggle around any of the victims was visible. So if it was a slaughter, it must have been a quick and clean one. The doctor stood frozen for a moment, trying to think. I've seen this before, he muttered to himself. His brilliant brain was scanning back over and over to work out what he thought had happened. His worst fears were realised. The quarantine, no flesh, total darkness, no crew. He was surrounded by the piranhas of the air, the Vashta Narada.